Have you ever wondered whether Lauder Baked Foundation is really suitable for mature skins? Have you been confused about which shade to choose? And are you curious about whether the makeup will last all day? Well, in this video, I'm going to address all those points and show you how the makeup looks on my mature 70-year-old skin. Oh, and hello and welcome to Beauty by Des, or welcome back. Now, because we're using the Bake Balance and Glow foundation, I've used bronzing drops first to mirror what my complexion might look like in the summer. And actually, I must say, I have been quite impressed with bronzing drops over the last few weeks. I'll insert a couple of images of me with the different bronzing drops I've been trialing. One is high-end and one is affordable. Now, the affordable one, which isn't the one I'm wearing today, and I'll tell you why in a minute, is the Bondi Sands bronzing drops. Now this one needs a few more drops I've found in my moisturiser, which is how I apply it to my complexion, than the other one, which I'm going to show you in a sec. But it does work, and I think you can see there's a bit of glow and a little bit of depth to my skin in the image. But unfortunately, this doesn't seem to be available in the States. And so I've found another one, which I haven't been able to buy here, but it's a L'Oreal version. So it's about the same price as the Bondi Sands. Very affordable, unfragranced, as all the products I use today are, because if you're new to my channel, I'm allergic to fragrance. So I do recommend these drops. I think they do give a nice glow. It's maybe not as deep as the one I'm going to show you now, which is the Bronzing Drops, don't you love that name, by Drunk Elephant. Now this is what I've got on today. And what's interesting is that although you'll see in the first image I'm just going to insert now, a few more drops came out than I had intended in my moisturiser today. But as you can see in the second image, when I apply my SPF over the top, it dampens it down a bit so it's not too brown. So I think this is a fair representation of what my skin looks like when it's been in the sun. Now let's come to the thorny issue of shades. And I know some of you have really struggled to find the right shade, or are disappointed with the shade that you've chosen and find it very difficult. Now both of the types of foundations, the Bake Balance and Brighten and the Bake Balance and Glow, come in 9 shades, and they do have a shade match finder on the site. But I accept that it's not easy to work it out. And I actually contacted my lovely friend here on YouTube, Tina, of Tina's Best Midlife, who is a huge Lauder fan and has lots of really good videos on her channel about Lauder, and I'll link her channel down below for you so you can take a look, because her skin is very different to mine. She's paler, and yet I think I'm right in saying that we both chose the same shade in the Bake Balance and Brighten, but I went a shade deeper in the Bake Balance and Glow because I wanted to see whether it would work on my complexion. And it definitely was darker. And I did a video, I've done a few videos on Lauder actually. The first one I did was just trialing the product. The second one I did was comparing the two types, the Bake Balance and Brighten with the Glow. And the third one was about comparing Bake Balance and Brighten with Bare Minerals. But when I did the video comparing the Bake Balance and Brighten in the light to the Bake Balance and Glow in the medium, a lot of people did comment that the medium was too dark for me, which is why I'm trying it on top of the bronzing drops. That was a terribly long explanation. I do apologise. So that's what we're doing today. We are using the medium on my slightly bronzed skin to see whether that works. Now, because my complexion is what it is, even with the bronzing drops, I can't tell you how to find your shade except to guide you first to the website with the shade finder and then to look at my friend Tina's videos, because her skin is different to mine, and yet we're both using the light when we haven't got bronzing drops on. But what I'll do first, before I apply the Bake Balance and Glow, is I will swatch the two shades that I have for you just so you can compare and contrast. So this is the light, and let's swatch that. That's the light, and this, as you can see, it is quite a bit darker. That is the medium. So you can see they are very different. This is very definitely darker, the medium to the light. And you can see that the light is a very good match for me. But let's see how the Bake Balance and Glow darker shade, the medium, works on my complexion now. But before we do that, we're going to apply a primer. And I have here the Spackle Skin Perfecting Primer in Hydrate. And I have a vague feeling that the other two might contain fragrance. And unfortunately, some Lauder products do contain fragrance, which I was quite disappointed about. but this one doesn't. So, and I think Hydrate for a mature skin is probably the right way to go. So it's kind of opaque. Feels very nice on the skin. I'm going to put it under our eyes. Actually, I don't think I've got enough there. Let me just put a bit more. It feels quite moisturising. A little bit on the, I was going to say greasy. Greasy is maybe unfair, but sticky. Let's call it sticky. But the foundation did apply very well over it. So it's very slightly tacky, but not too much. So I don't know if that's dialed down the bronzing drops even more, but I think there's still a bit of a glow there. Now let's talk about coverage, because some of you have mentioned an issue with getting any coverage at all from the foundation. And on Laura Geller's website, she shows you how to apply the foundation to get light coverage and to get medium coverage. And she said it's all to do with the Kabuki brush. In my previous videos, I've only used a Kabuki brush that I had, but I thought for demo purposes, and to be fair, let's get her Kabuki brush. So this is it here. And the idea is if you want light coverage, you leave the sleeve fully down. And if you want medium coverage, you take the sleeve up. Now, when I've tried this week, and I've been trialing this all week with the new products I've got and the brushes, I haven't actually found any difference. But let's see if we can make a difference. So on this side, this is the side I've got more blemishes, including this one. So we'll do the medium coverage version on this side, and we'll do the lighter coverage on this side. So taking the compact, and we're going to do the light coverage first. We're going to swirl the brush into the product, and then we're going to lightly apply it, like so. So we're definitely getting coverage, but it's light, which is good in my book. I don't want heavy coverage. And I'm definitely looking browner again, I would say. So that's a light coverage using the Kabuki brush with the sleeve fully down. Now let's try the other side with the sleeve like that. So making the brush firmer. And let's see whether we can get fuller coverage. And let's particularly look at this blemish here, all these blemishes, and see whether we can get any coverage using the brush like this. I can't say I like using it like this. It feels a bit too firm for my taste. I prefer it when it's softer. It feels quite hard and rigid, which I suppose is the purpose of it, but I don't know whether I would like to be doing this on a regular basis, because it feels a bit like I'm hitting my face with a hard object. Not quite how I like to do my makeup. Still, I do think this blemish has covered a little bit. Let's see if we can cover it a tiny bit more. Yes, I think that's dialed down the redness of that blemish, or those little blemishes. Yeah, I don't know though. Has it really covered my complexion that much more than this side? I'm not sure it has. And in any event, I didn't really like using it like that. I prefer to use it with the sleeve down. So let's just finish off. Now, I want to say a little word about concealers. I wasn't able to buy a concealer from Laura Geller because it contains fragrance. Now, she does suggest that with the Bake, Balance and Brighten, you can use a small brush, dip it in the foundation and use it as a concealer, but we're not going to do that today because I want to use an actual concealer. So I'm just going to use the concealer of the moment. I absolutely love this, the Estee Lauder Double Wear. Now with the Estee Lauder, I originally bought 2N, which is what I'm going to use today, but actually I found it was a bit too golden with my normal makeup, but because we've gone a bit darker, I think 2N, yeah, 2N should be better. So let's pop some on. Oh yes, it's definitely warmer, this one. Just goes on really easily, this concealer. I do think it's an excellent concealer. I know it's pricey, but it is really good. And then we might just do a light dusting underneath of the powder. I haven't been powdering my under eyes at all lately, and I know somebody asked in my live that I did recently, doesn't your mascara smudge if you don't apply powder under your eyes? But actually it depends on the mascara. I found with my absolute holy grail mascara, which is the Maybelline Sky High, no smudging at all. Right, brows are done. Now let's move to eyes and complexion. Now I'm really disappointed to tell you that this trio that I bought a few months ago has been discontinued. This is called the Baked Face and Eye Trio, but sadly I looked on the website today and it's been discontinued. But I will link down below for you and put on the screen a very similar version to this, but for some reason or other this has been discontinued. I only bought it about 4 or 5 months ago, but what can you do? So what we've got here are 3 baked powders. We've got an eyeshadow duo, a highlighter and a blusher, and they are beautiful colours. I will swatch them for you, but just bear in mind that these have been discontinued and the ones in the new palette are probably slightly different. But this one is the eyeshadow. You've got 2 different shades there. So you've got a sort of brow bone colour perhaps, or a lid, and then you've got the darker one, which you can use as an eyeliner. Then we've got the highlighter, which looks more like a bronzer, doesn't it really? That. And finally you've got the blush. So when I was deciding to purchase some new Laura products, including the primer, I also decided to buy baked blush and bronze in earthy bronze. And I looked at a few of the shades on the website and I chose this one because honestly, look at this. It almost looks good enough to eat. It just looks so gorgeous. So we're going to use that, but I have been trialing it all week and it is a little bit on the bronzy side, so we don't want to go too golden, otherwise we're going to look like we've been tangoed. So what I'm going to do is mix and match a little bit with the colours, and although I have enjoyed using this palette, I haven't loved all of it, and I particularly haven't loved the eyeshadow section, so we're not going to use that today. We're going to play around with some of the other powders and see what sort of look we can get. Although I will probably be using a little bit of this pink one here. So let's have a bit of a play. And I have been playing this week, so I think the first thing we'll do is use the baked blush and bronze on my cheeks. But we may have to fiddle with it slightly because it is a little bit too bronzy for me. So I decided to buy the Laura powder brush as well, so that's what we're going to be using, although you really don't need to, you could use any powder brush. So let's swirl that around. Now there is quite a bit of fallout with these powders, but let's apply it. Oh yes, can you see immediately how dark that is? That really is too dark for my taste, but that's okay, we can sheer it out. Oh my gosh, talk about tangoed. It's interesting, isn't it, because there is this pinky shade here, but I don't seem to be getting much out of it. Let's just see if we can add a bit more to dial it down a bit. No, I don't think we can. I think that's very orange. So let's take another Kabuki brush. This is my old Sephora one, and just see what we can do. Give it a really good sheer out. Yes, I think that's better. It's still a little bit on the bronzy side for me, but it's better. So now what I've been doing this week is I've been using this blusher here, which does have a bit of brown in it, but it is nice and pinky. And we're going to pop that on the top of the bronzer like this. Oh yeah, can you see? That's made a big difference, and then we'll sheer that out. Oh yeah, that's much better. These colours really do have depth, don't they? They really do have good pigment. So if we use the same brush, yeah, I think that's looking quite good. Might be a little bit over the top, but we'll see when we go out in natural light. Now I think what we'll do is we'll add a little bit of the highlighter. So let's do that with our fingers. I think there's something to be said for using our fingers actually, because you can see how well pigmented it is. I do love a highlighter, I must say. And then we'll take a very small brush. This is an e.l.f. brush to just sheer it out. Let's do that. There, what do we think? Am I overdoing it? Well, we'll have a look when we go outside and see if we've gone a bit over the top. Now, for eyes, we're going to be a bit subtle, I think. Now, because I'd got that palette, I haven't bought any other eyeshadows from Laura, but I did buy the Kajal Longwear eye pencil. But I'm not sure I want to use it today because I have tried it this week and it's okay, but it's quite a thick nib. Let me swatch it for you. This is in Smoky Quartz. Everything seems to be Smoky Quartz these days. But it is quite dark. It's darker than the Smoky Quartz of the Victoria Beckham and I think the Kiko Milano as well. So I'm inclined to leave it out. So I think what we'll do for eyeshadow is actually we will use a bit of the blush and bronzer, which is really a bronzer, isn't it? And maybe just take the pinky bit from this pan. Oh yeah, that's nice, isn't it? Oh, that's excellent actually, look at that. And we can get a nice light eyeshadow on our lids, and then we'll finish off with mascara. I don't think we really want to be lining our lids, not for this look, because we're going very summery, really, very late spring, summer. Yeah, I like that. It's kind of offsetting all this brown going on here, isn't it? Now, I bought the Laura Geller mascara, which is called Always There. And I've been trying it all week. I'm not madly in love with it at the moment. But mascaras do take time to come to fruition, don't they? They usually take about a week. It's probably been about 4 or 5 days. It's got a nice curved brush, which I like. But whether it's going to become the holy grail like the Maybelline, I don't know. Well, let's apply it anyway. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's thickening them a little bit and not making them too clumpy at this stage. Well, if you don't look too closely, it's not too bad, but it's not the best. Now let's come to lipsticks, and I've got 2 shades. I've got Al Fresco and Berry Banana. So let me swatch them for you first before I apply them. This is, what's this one? This is Al Fresco, and they're also marbled, by the way. That's Al Fresco. And that's Berry Banana, so they're not that dissimilar. These are my sort of colours, so that's why I've gone for them. This is a bit lighter, this is a bit darker. So let's try Berry Banana first. I like these lipsticks because they give a nice satin finish to the lip and they feel creamy and comfortable. So this is Berry Banana. And now let's try Al Fresco. So this is Al Fresco. I think Al Fresco would be nicer for the daytime and maybe Berry Banana at night. But I also love layering lipsticks actually, so let's put a bit of Berry Banana on the top, shall we? So here's the finished look. What do we think? Have I overdone it a bit? Is it looking too heavy on me, or is it just right? We're going to go out in natural light in a moment and see how it looks. So here we are in natural light. I'll have to look back at the footage to see how it looks myself because the sun is so bright I can't really tell. What are we thinking? I may have overdone it a little bit, but it looks quite glowy. And is it enhancing my complexion, or is it making me look older than my years? And did it cover up this blemish? What do we think? It's a beautiful day out here. Gosh, it's so nice. Let me see if I can go in the shade just to see if that helps at all. Oh yeah, that's better. Okay, here we are in the shade. Just, is that a bit orangey? I don't know. This side maybe looks slightly better. Maybe I overdid one side. What do we think? Do we like it? So here we are at the end of the day. It's about 6:30 in the evening. I've had the makeup on since about 10 o'clock this morning, and let's see how it's all fared. So first of all, I can see there's a little bit of fallout from the mascara, and I wasn't madly impressed with the mascara overall anyway. I think my lashes look a bit spindly. I'm not sure that they look particularly full or feathered or separated or anything like that. So not mad keen on it. It is only a few days in, but I can't see myself falling in love with it at this stage. And I do think that the bronzing blush or the blushing bronze has really not done me any favours. It does make me look rather orange. So unfortunately, although it looked beautiful in the pan, I don't think it's right at all for my complexion. It's probably just too dark. The lipsticks I did really like. I like the satin finish. They felt comfortable on my lips. I think they looked attractive. I'd probably use a lip liner as well, but I really did like them and I'm sure I will get a lot of use out of them. And now let's go to the foundation. So I think it's fared really well, and I'm going to zoom you in just so you can check for yourself. So if we look at this side, and this is the side that I tried to do the more full coverage with, or the medium coverage with the stippling of the hard brush, but I don't think it worked all that well. And actually I realised that on this side I should have swept up rather than stippling with the softer version of the Kabuki brush. I should have actually swept, but in any case I think this side looks great, that side looks good too. I think it has come off a little bit around my nose, but let me know in the comments, has this given me enough coverage, do you think? I know we've sort of spoilt it a bit with the orange, with the bronzing stuff, but do you think it's given me enough coverage? I certainly do, but it's quite difficult for me to tell. I think it'd be easier for you to tell me whether you think it's given me enough coverage, because I know that's been an issue for some people. They just say it's not enough, it doesn't do anything for me, or it looks too cakey. But I don't think you can say it looks cakey on me, can you? And I can't see any really dry spots on my complexion. And I think that's what's amazing about the Laura Geller powders, is they don't seem to accentuate the dry patches. You put your primer on, I mean, you don't even need a primer as long as your skin is nicely moisturised and you've got your SPF on. You put the foundation on the top and there it virtually stays. Yes, it might wear off a little bit, but you don't get, or at least I haven't got, that cakiness that you might get with a fuller coverage or a medium coverage foundation. I think there's something magic, it's not magic really, but there's obviously some properties in the foundation that don't make it cake, at least on my skin. And my skin is 70 years old. It's not dry. It has some dry patches, but it's a normal skin. It's not oily either. It's just normal with a slightly oily T-zone at times. So I do think that's a really interesting observation. So to conclude, I like the Balance and Glow version of the foundation. The medium shade I think suits me, but only because I've used bronzing drop. The lighter version and the Balance and Brighten as opposed to the Balance and Glow. I'm not sure I can see a difference between Glow and Brighten, and we've already done a video on that anyway, which I'll link down below for you. I don't think I saw much of a difference. Some people did, some people didn't. But I do really like this shade for summer, and so I'll continue to use it when I've got my bronzing drops on, or if my skin gets a little bit darker, which of course it shouldn't do because I wear SPF, I wear a hat, I don't sit in the sun. So let me know in the comments what you think about all these products and whether any of them tickle your fancy. So that's it. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, and don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed this video. And if you can't get enough of me, I have a monthly newsletter, which is soon to be bi-monthly, on a trial basis, and in that I don't just talk about beauty, but I also talk about fashion, lifestyle, entertainment, other content creators, and all the other bits and bobs that bring us joy. And thank you so much for watching. It means the absolute world to me, it really does. And I hope you're all doing really well, and I look forward to seeing you on my next video, which is on Wednesday, by the way. Bye!